hui kea hea he makani o hale akala. He makana una i ke ala ni koa. O kaunu lai na o kulala i. He malino ai on ai mau ki o kila.
We went to Hawaii to learn about Hawaiian food and Hawaiian cooking, and to have the chance to meet some Hawaiian chefs who are doing what they're doing right now and expose us to the land, to their farming, to their resources, to everything that goes into those dishes. I would take that opportunity because I want to learn about the way they eat and why they eat that way. That's actually what's becoming more important to me now, because all this is making me reflect on my food and why I do what I do. So any opportunity I have to learn and to help me enrich that passion, I will take it. I will take it because like any other profession or art, you always need something to stimulate, to bring you to that level where you don't lose interest, where you don't lose focus, where you don't get bored. I'm eating a bread, fruit, flour, and gnocchi, which is amazing. It tastes just like normal flour. Wow. Live off this. Learning about other cultures and what they're doing and how they came about it, how that particular chef came to that, enriches my passion.
Welcome again to Ko Ie Fish Pond. Our fish pond here is a very special place. During the changes of the tides, the small fish will still be able to swim inside of the makaha into our fish pond. And when they enter into the pond, they eat a lot of food, such as seaweed or limu. They'll grow and get too large and they won't be able to fit back out of the makaha. And that's simply how a fish pond worked.
I grew up in the north of Portugal. Not on the coast, but not far from the coast. I grew up in a very humble to poor family because at the time Portugal was a poor country. It was, the government just kept us oppressed until the 70s. So people didn't have, Coca-Cola came into Portugal after I had come to Canada already. There was no fast food, there was nothing. You ate from the land. I moved to Canada when I was 7 years old. By then, I was already actually very interested in cooking because I grew up with my mother up to that age. I started cooking with flavors that I knew, to me, they're comfort food. Eating food that resembles what my mother made, the flavors bring me back to the time when, I was growing up with her. Now, my yearning for that little bit of time I had is never ending. I keep wanting to learn more, and I've got so much to just learn about other cultures and foods from all over. Very excited about the experience, very excited to know about the food and the chefs themselves and where they come from and how long they've been doing it and what they do. And even watching them on their daily routine, even that I learned a lot from. I was excited about looking at all the ingredients they had in their walk-ins, and that first day was just all about finding new things. It was like my first day at work, because you're in a different environment with different people, and they kind of welcome you and embrace the whole situation and make you feel comfortable. By the second day, you're part of a team. It's an experience that you can't even explain. You kind of have to, I don't know, you have to just live it to feel what I felt. As a chef going into that situation, it's a feeling, not necessarily, it's an emotion. It is an emotion. Tom is a very cool man. He was a professional surfer at one point. Still a great surfer. And when we talked about wanting to try it, I had never surfed before, man, the guy was right on board. He lives to give people happiness. And when I offered him a chance to make me happy, he was right there.
So currently we are following Chef Tom, who used to be a world-class surfer on the professional circuit. From my understanding, a legend in Hawaii and in the culinary world. He is taking us to a beach where he is going to attempt to get us mainlanders, real mainlanders, because we're actually from Canada, up on a surfboard. I believe that it is entirely possible that you will see Chef Lino standing on a surfboard today.
It's all right. It's just not real strong today, and it's pretty much where I come. I know pretty much everybody over here, so let's go get set up. We can just kind of set up.
That was awesome. Holy smokes. Tom's a bit older, so he's got a bit more knowledge, experience that has ripened him. He's like a person that can sit with you for days, and the stories he told me, he's on a never-ending quest to just find out about food. He's like the life student of food. Kind of what I try to do, but he actually, I think, is at a level now where he's doing it. He's doing it. That interests him more than anything else. It shows in him as a person and as a chef, in his peers, how they approach him. Every conversation we had was full of excitement and positive about, regardless what it had to do with, not once did I feel any negative energy from him. He's just the type of man that makes the whole room just feel happy. It was, you know what, a couple hours that I will never forget in my life, thanks to him. Awesome. That was like living in an aquarium for the time that we were in there. It was awesome. Well, I've done all my dicing and slicing and got the pork all ready, fish is all ready. There is a theme, and the theme is the influence that Portugal had on the Hawaiian, the cooking in general. being Portuguese, I wanted to do something that was as close to, an old Portuguese recipe as I could get. But then I had to kind of make it my own. It only made sense to bring a surf and turf to the dinner, which was pretty much what the dinner was based on. It was a turf meets surf. Made it in a way that it would represent me and my restaurant more so than Portugal itself. So I kind of wanted to connect the three things: Hawaii, Portugal, and me. It's considered a one-pot dish. I decided to deconstruct it a bit, try to get the flavors out of each ingredient, and then just connect it together on the plate. Lyndon is coming from a hotel. It's a different type of professional, right? They work with a lot more individuals than I do. So they're very, very professional. Not that I don't operate that way, but the comparison, I feel I'm a bit more casual in my environment than they are, but only because being the chef in your own restaurant allows you to do that.
How do I describe Hawaiian food? I guess it's just real comfort, Everything is from the land, the ocean, and it's just soul food, It's like our own style of soul food. And for Hawaiian food, it's not always papayas and lilikois and pineapples, That's not a true representation of actual Hawaiian food. So, for us, it's not fusion. Well, no, we've been eating like this for over 100 years,
I understand his position, and I look up to somebody like that quite a bit because it's impressive how they can run a team like that so tight and still be creative and still be excited about what they're doing. That is very impressive, very impressive.
I love it when I get to collaborate with actual chefs, chef owners, because just a different perspective on the business side of the restaurant business, because it's a brutal business to be in,
He was as excited as I was. His sous chefs were as excited as I was. They were, all about finding out what I was doing and why I was doing it and how I was doing it, and I was excited about them.
At the end of the day, we just always, we always have a common thread. It's like we just want to cook good food for people and make people happy.
Like Lyndon's been saying, having other chefs to see what they're doing. I think my whole life is about learning. It never stops. Having that opportunity is great, and I've always looked at it that way, The Hawaiian food is simple. It's flavorful if you cook it the right way in the old traditional ways. Growing up in Hawaii and being around so much different ethnic backgrounds, Hawaii is a melting pot of different cultures and flavors. So we're kind of used to that, and be around people that you can have fun with, because it's about eating and having a great time. I live for it. I've been in it now 32 years, and I've been a chef and I enjoy it. But do I know everything? Hell no. Hell no. I'm still learning every day. This is pastrami ahi tartar on a taro bagel.
So going in without the experience of Hawaiian food, my best choice was to use a local fish. So this is the kampachi with a citrus relish. We have a great distillery here in Alberta, Eau Claire, that produces a gin that's one of my favorites. And I thought I'll introduce a bit of Alberta into it. So a way to introduce Portuguese and Hawaiian and Alberta was more based on the ingredients. And then I took the Portuguese part of it, which was just a very acidic, almost like a vinaigrette, citrus relish. I get really excited watching other chefs cook their food. It makes me just forget about everything else. I could live in that kitchen with this guy forever. In that sense, I could really just, time will pass and I'll be that into it, that excited about it. And that's just something you're always looking for in the kitchen. You're always looking for that. It was one part of two, right? That was the first part. So this part was exciting to experience. Now I'm very excited to have the chefs come into my home. And that's how I feel about it. It's almost like they're opening their doors to their home and I'm coming into their house and they're allowing me to take part in the whole process of everything that goes into their job and into their passion. Now, I want to return that. I'm anxious. I can't wait for them to come in here and cook in my kitchen and experience and eat my food and, you know, and have my team eat their food and my customers eat their food.
These are piri piri prawns. Well, we are combining the many talents of the many chefs and trying to create an outdoor dinner with, except for the prawns, everything else is Alberta protein, Alberta vegetables, grown and caught in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming to Alberta, to Edmonton, to learn that from us. Where does our food come from? Why do we eat what we eat? Visit some local producers and understand the difference between our farming and our ingredients and theirs. And then seeing how that is incorporated into our kitchen. In the end, it's a circle. It's a learning circle and an appreciation. Definitely a big appreciation. It makes you understand how important it is to have that connection with food, the land, the sea, the air, everything around you, how it's connected to that plate of food that you're eating. When I moved back to Portugal in 1993, there I had the opportunity to open a small restaurant on just an old historic town right on the coast. I was tempted to come back to Canada by my good friend, my best friend and business partner, and also my wife whose family lived here, with the intention of opening that style of restaurant here. So SABOR came out of that. The idea was to bring as fresh and the best quality we could of seafood into a restaurant in Alberta with an Iberian influence. So we kind of crossed over that line, refined some of our dishes a bit, introduced some new flavors, some flavors that are more, familiar, and have come up kind of with our own cuisine, which is a take on Iberian, Portuguese, and Spanish with a little bit of a Canadian palate. Being a multicultural country, we were embraced because everyone's looking for something different, and I think this is as different as you're going to get as far as seafood goes. This is one of the greatest things that, has happened to me in a long time. As a chef, you're constantly looking for things to motivate you. It gets your creativity going again. It's almost like, hearing a new song for the first time and you're excited, and all of a sudden, you go out and buy the album and you want to see this group, and you just, for a while, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but it just makes it so much more intense. So right now, cooking for me has become more intense again. I came back and my staff, first thing they said is, "You're really happy to be back, aren't you?" Because I was like, smile from ear to ear. I was so excited to jump back in the kitchen and just, guys, this is what I learned. You want to share that, and you hope that even your customers are going to notice that, right? So that's the most important thing, I think, is it makes you realize why you do this.